Hello everyone, this is Latasha Blanton from the Real South Africa Travel and Tourism. And you're going to have the opportunity to travel with Phil Scott to
sunny South Africa. You guys are going to have the opportunity to come to Johannesburg, and you guys are going to be coming to Durban. And we're going to set it up perfectly. It's going to be like a luxury experience for you guys. At the same time, you're going to be getting some culture. And of course, you're going to get an opportunity to talk to Phil, hang out with Phil, and get his views on Africa and South Africa.
You're also going to get an opportunity to explore the lifestyles here that are available in South Africa. And we're going to do all that for you in an amazing 10 days. We do hope that you go to the website and book, because we do look forward to seeing you here.
Absolutely. Our website is therealsouthafrica.com. Go there, scroll down. You'll see a picture of Phil, and just go ahead and book there. So we'll see you here in what we like to call sunny South Africa.
Remember when white supremacists used to openly discuss on how to unalive Africans?
This tells Mr. Buckley why I think one can deal constructively with questions like the one you were asking about what about killing, setting up a program to kill half the people in Africa.
Yeah.
I think we should, you see, I've set up an even wider thing, and I say this leads me to an absurdity. I think your question also leads to an absurdity.
Yeah, I want to know why it's an absurdity. I don't think these graphs help. Do they?
Oh, you mean why your example is an absurdity?
Yes.
Well, we should
or
explore that more, you see. I think
you
didn't describe how these people would be killed. This would, in my standards, be a very important factor.
Painlessly.
Painlessly.
Yeah.
And so the total amount of happiness might be greater in that group of people. But would it be greater for you, Mr. Buckley, if you knew your country were doing this?
No.
Well, you see, not everybody would be happier. The citizens in this country who might share emotions like mine and my concern postulate, which was a third of the three moral postulates, truth, concern, death, I think would be unhappy with this too. And how about the people who remained? Do you think they would be happy to have their brothers, their cousins killed off this way? I'm not at all sure that your proposal would lead to anything like a maximum of happiness.
Well, again, this would be a postulation. If one assumes that there are two people in a room both starving to death, and the disappearance of one ends the problem of starvation for the other, there is, I think, almost a biologically ineluctable.
Well, this gets close to the problem solved by this. What was it? A basketball team in the Andes,
yes,
in which they were reduced to cannibalism, and they did a lot of soul searching, and I have no quarrel with what they had to
they ate corpses. Yeah.
Well, the same thing could happen, you see, in the other area. And it might be that a group of people would gather together and they'd say, we have a contribution. It may be they've discovered some new, unique source of energy, and there are only 10 of them. And if they don't arrive back, they know that some part of civilization will be greatly damaged by this loss.
Even though that video you just watched was from a long time ago, that sentiment is still alive, even though some of them have changed up their vocabulary or are giving us what they're talking about in a different way, like forced sterilization. We've talked about this before. Or the Finland Minister, what he was saying about Africans and how if enough Africans were not being born, which she was talking about abortion, then this world would be a better place. Finland Minister just resigned, and the reason is because he said some disgusting things about African women. Finland's Minister for Economic Affairs, Zelalem, said addressing the parliament, quote, "It would be justified for Finland to shoulder its responsibility by promoting climate abortion. Climate abortion would be a small step for a person, but a giant leap for humanity." He said the solution for the climate crisis is to give more abortions to African women. How disgusting is this person? To solve the climate crisis, you need to promote abortion in Africa? He didn't say in his own country, he didn't say in any part of the world, but he specifically said abortion in Africa. What kind of evil human being is this? And he was not even fired, mind you. There was controversy after he said this, but nothing would have happened to him. He quit because he said it's going to give a bad name to my country. It's not because the Finland parliament held him accountable or anybody thought to ask him to resign. He resigned on his own. That on its own is also very disappointing. Obviously, there's an agenda, and that agenda is to reduce our population. In this case, in the video that you just watched, some want it half, some just don't want us to exist. But we have sad news for them. We are increasing in number. Africa is the most youthful continent in the whole entire world. Majority of our population is the youth, and that scares them so much because other nations are stagnant or they're not giving birth as much. So basically they're dying out, and they don't want that. Instead of focusing on their own self and educating their own people, we need to multiply, we need to work hard to have a family, because that's not what's happening in many nations. They rather turn around and look at us, and they want to manipulate us into thinking that there needs to be less of us, when in fact that's not what this world needs. It needs more of us, because Africans, if you've seen time and time again, they have tried to erase us. They have tried to, as you heard in that discussion, to unalive us in so many ways, which we can't get into in this video. But regardless, we keep growing, we keep blossoming, right? And so I think they can try, and they've been trying. They will not succeed. And that is what we have seen thus far. I guess it doesn't matter how hard they try. It's not meant to be, and it's not gonna happen. But we need to create that awareness. Unfortunately, not a lot of people understand what the agenda is and how we're being impacted. If you don't know better, you're not going to protect yourself. Like the forced sterilization, most women didn't know what was happening, so they were going to these doctors, to these NGOs, and basically losing their chance of having a family. Even though that's what they wanted, they can't have it anymore. So the more we educate ourselves, the more we can protect ourselves from falling into being a victim of this sinister causes. Anyways, fam, let us know down below what your thoughts are about this. I am Wongel Zelalem.